Hello and welcome back to another episode of Monster vs. Monster on the D&D CR YouTube expose thing. I don't know, messed it up. It's my channel. This is me, Andrew, and we're here to fight monsters against other monsters, and today we've got a fun one. This was another requested battle from another viewer, or possibly on the forum. I don't quite remember exactly where, but this one just simply said martials versus magic. So I took some time to figure out what martial and magic uses I wanted to use, and luckily we're using entirely Monsters of the Multiverse because they're a lot easier to use when it comes to magic users on the left side of the arena here, and our martials, which are primarily just martials except for this dude down here who's a blackguard and kind of basically a paladin. So I've put the blackguard down here on the Lam, our blackguard, over here on the right to go with the martials. And we have ourselves some other casters as well. Now, up here at the top, who's overseeing this with two guards, is our buddy and goblin, Frizz, who we haven't seen in a while. So maybe while Frizz is going about his business trying to find a new home with his goblin boss there, after successfully escaping the kobold invasion, we find Frizz sleeping one night and seeing the delusions of grandeur that he has, maybe conducting his own arena battle or controlling a city or some form, and this is Frizz's, nice little dream he's having, pitting humans against humans in a battle to the death. And that we will have, as only one side can come out as victor tonight. So, regardless of how quickly they're slain or not, we will see whether or not one side wins. Yeah, I know. I couldn't find a really good other martial class to go in there with it, so we'll see what happens. I mean, when we look at the martial, or the blackguard here, they don't have anything really for spells besides command, but they do have, they have a smite, which they can use as a bonus action. So, in theory, we have a pretty decent build out here, since there's not much in the way of spells. I could use command, but I'm probably not going to. Let me see here. One quick thing. Immediately after Blackguard hits with an attack roll. So, yes, our Blackguard can also smite on a short bow. Because that is exactly what it's saying here. Target with an attack roll, and the short bow is an attack roll. So we can smite with a short bow. Love it. Okay, so let's see. What do we have for our fighters here? Well, like I said, we have Frizz up top, who is just kind of cheering and jeering from the balcony edges. We could say that there's a whole bunch of people in the arenas as well that are indistinct and we can't see. I didn't feel like populating all those tokens. And over here, for our magic users, we have Hara, the wizard necromancer, who has a bunch of fun spells and abilities. We have Circle of Death, Bestow Curse, Dimension Door, Mage Armor, which should have been put on beforehand. So let me go ahead and do that while we're waiting, because obviously she would have cast Mage Armor on herself. So we'll go ahead and consume the spell. So now she has Mage Armor up to 15 AC, which is good. Web, Dancing Lights, Mage Hand, and Prestidigitation, which the cantrips definitely won't be coming into handy, but we will probably end up seeing some uses of these spells here. I just have to remember to use them. On top of that, she has a multi-attack of, 3 arcane burst attacks, just like our evoker wizard we saw last week. And she can also summon undead and Grim Harvest, which, when the necromancer kills a creature with the necrotic damage, the necromancer gains 9 hit points. Probably won't see that one, but we'll see what happens. Now, since this is a dream, a fever dream here by Frizz, our goblin, there probably is a slew of undead, or not necessarily undead, but skeletons lying around and dead bodies. So we're going to say that more than likely, if Hara here, our necromancer wizard, wants to summon some undead, she'll be able to. And then on top of that, besides Hara, our necromancer wizard, we have Lorder, our druid of the old ways. Spellbook, this is a generic, this is our original spellcaster with from GGR here. So we have some cantrips. Thorn Whip might come in handy. Resistance might come in handy. Produce Flames, maybe. Druidcraft, definitely not. We have some Cure Wounds, Fairy Fire, Thunder Wave, Beast Sense, Flame Blade, Pass Without Trace, Conjure Animals, Dispel Magic, Plant Growth, Dominate Beasts, Freedom of Movement, Wall of Fire. Oh, I don't know why I did this to myself. Commune with Nature, Conjure Elements, Scrying, or Conjure Elemental, excuse me. I don't have a Conjure Elemental ready, unfortunately. Transport via Plants, and Wall of Thorns. Okay, and then our last one here is Mordon, who is the Warlock of the Great Old One. And for spellbooks, we have Arcane Gate, Detect Thoughts, True Seeing, Detect Magic, Levitate, Mage Armor, which we will go ahead and use that as well, because they will definitely have had that placed on before combat started. Alright, Mage Armor as well, up to AC 16, which is good. And then a bunch of cantrips. Minor Illusion might come in handy. You know, we could put Minor Illusion in a box in front of a person, and then they have, you know, they could duck behind it, technically giving them, you know, extra AC. Oh, and then I also forgot, for features, they have the Whispering Aura, which at the start of the Warlock's turn, each creature of its choice within 5 feet of it must succeed on a Wisdom save or take psychic damage, which is kind of fun. Howling Void, the Warlock opens a momentary extraplanar rift within 60 feet of it. The rift is a scream-filled 20-foot cube. Each creature in that area must make a save. On a failed save, they take some damage, they're frightened, and then, you know, they're frightened until so on and so forth. Yes, exactly. Most of those turns are going to be like that, unfortunately. That's Howling Void, and then we have multi-attack of 2 dagger attacks. Yeah, we can either throw some daggers or not. Man, this one, he doesn't really have much. What does he? Oh, wow. Yeah, this Warlock of the Great Old One is not going to be as impactful as I thought. Yeah, anyways, we'll see how it works out. And on the far side, we have Enfina, a Astral Elf Commander from Booze, I don't remember the name of it, BAM, Booze something Menagerie or whatever. So basic, you know, elf here from outer space. McClash 013 for straight up combat. I'm guessing the martial characters will have the upper hand. Who knows, maybe, but thanks for joining. We'll get into that in a moment. Multi-attack here, basically all that our Astral Elf is going to be able to do is 2 longsword or 2 longbow attacks. Easy enough. We have Fenlar, a Shadar-Kai Shadow Dancer, also from Monsters of the Multiverse. Again, going to be just a couple spike chain attacks. Nothing else really going on here. Can also shadow jump to get up there faster, but that might not be the best thing to do. And then spiked chain. I also forgot to put up line of sight blocks for these, for all these lions here, unfortunately. And then lastly, like I said, we have Lom, our Blackguard, who's basically a paladin in disguise. The main complaint about spellcasters is that they have too much utility outside of combat. No, that's very, very true. If you really want, I could send stats for Jorkson if you want, Echo Knight, Brawler. Yeah, if you want, Herr Doctor, that'd be fun to look over. Okay, and now that we have all that situated, and like I said, we have Frizz up here having this fever dream, and now that they are working and trying to find a new camp with their boss, we're going to go ahead and start this combat. So let's go ahead and roll our d20s to see where everyone starts off with. Yeah, definitely for next time. Okay, so we have a whole bunch of rolls here. We got Fenlar, our Shadow Dancer going, followed by the Druid, our, let's see here, Warlock, our Blackguard, the Elf, just basic Elf attacker, and Hara, our Necromancer Wizard. There we go. So let's go ahead and begin round 1. Okay, so first off, we have Fenlar, who's going to certainly want to take the initiative here and jump up, you know, just dash up 30 feet. So let's see, where does 30 feet get us? Not too terribly far, so we're going to go ahead and go 30 feet to here, and then we'll say another 55 feet to here. Yeah, come on. Oh, it's not going. Why is it not going? That's because I don't have that set up, possibly. Alright, let's try this one more time. Technical difficulties as always, and it's not moving. Weird. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and shift our Shadow Dancer up there. They could do a bonus action, but that's about it for that. So we're going to end their turn. Not much going on since, you know, this is a huge arena. Scaled them to level 14. Oh boy. Drake, hello! Can't stick around, but unfortunately, I'm pulling the sword in pulling for the sword and board. Cool, thank you! Alright, Drink, thanks for stopping by and, you know, saying hi. Hopefully, you'll be able to enjoy the video later on. Alright, up next we have Lorder, our Druid of the Old Ways. And, again, we have, let's see here. What was it? More than likely, the best thing that the Druid's going to do is conjure elementals. So, give me a moment to prep something. I will be right back. And I have to take care of getting a creature set up here. Okay, so, Shoot. What was it? Conjure elemental, and it can be fire elemental, earth elemental. Okay, so yeah, it definitely has to be an earth elemental. Okay. Since there's no fire. Alright, that'll just be the easiest. Alright, got that all set up. Alright, now that I'm back, I can go ahead and have Lorder conjure up an elemental. So Lorder's going to rush over to the side here, and I keep trying to hit space so they'll move forward. Why is that not... Oh, anyways. Alright, so I'm going to rush up to here, and then it's going to go ahead and cast the conjuration spell. Let's see. No, not that. 4th level spell. I think... No, where was it? Hiding. Where did you put your spell? 5th level. Why am I not seeing 5th level? Alright, anyways. Alright, so what is the distance that we can conjure this elemental to? 90 foot range. I wish they would put that on the front there. Yeah, the 5th level spell should be somewhere right there, and it's not there for some reason. Flame Blade is a bonus action? Okay. Alright, anyways, go ahead and bring that up. Alright, so we're going to get our elemental here real quick. Let's measure out where 90 feet is. Oh, jeez. Oh, boy. Alright, so, yeah. 90 foot right there. They're going to conjure an elemental right up there. And put it right on Fenlar. Oh, boy. Okay, so we've consumed the spell slot. And let's see here. What happens if I click that? Oh, it just gives me the stat block. Okay, cool. And we're going to go ahead and plop an earth elemental down right here. Now, I need to double check real quick. Ellis Barlow, I feel like this will come down to whether the marshals can get into melee with the casters or not. That's probably going to be the case for sure. Let's see here. You can call forth an elemental servant, choose a blah blah blah, add an element to return fire lower appropriate. Yep, 5 or lower, okay. Roll initiative for the elemental. Okay, so then, I need to throw them into combat and roll initiative. Alright, so they have a 6, so now I know exactly where they're going. Okay. So they're going dead last in the initiative, which works out. That's handy. Okay. Fix some stuff real quick. Oh, why did that not show up? As always, for the owner. Represented actor. Okay. It's because I'm not clicking save. There we go. Perfect. Alright. So Lordar takes their turn, summoning up an earth elemental that just rises up and shakes the earth and comes out right in front of Fenlar here. And that will be Lordar's turn. Alright. Ending their turn, we move on to Mordon. Wait, doesn't Conjure Elementals have a 1-minute casting time? Oh, maybe. That's a good question. I didn't check that. It does! Okay, so we can't do that one. Thank you. Ellis, you get a inspiration for that one. Thank you. Warning, inspiration points awarded here may not be viable and legal at your table. Talk to your DM to discuss this inspiration point. Thank you so much for that. Now I have to figure out what I want to do next. Probably why it didn't show up in combat, which is funny. Yeah, everything under over a minute or over an action isn't showing up, which is good. We could do Wall of Fire. Dominate Beasts, that's not going to bother. Conjure Animals, that's one action. Oh god, we could conjure an animal. That's not going to help. Oh no. Lord. Alright. Yeah, I'm going to say probably couldn't conjure an animal here because it's an arena, so we won't worry about that one. And, oof. Alright, evoke your fire below your hand first. Yeah, I guess we'll just have him do a flame blade then, and have him move up even further. I don't know what else to do with this guy at the moment, so we'll have him go another 30 feet to here. Alright, go up to here, and he'll do a flame blade instead. There we go. I don't know why I just rolled damage. Apparently he just hit himself. We'll revert that damage, and he now has Flame Blade going on. Bonus action, reaction. Okay. Alright, Mordon. Let's move on now that we know our Lorder has a Flame Blade in his hand. Mordon is going to do what? Probably not a whole lot of anything. Arcane Gate, Detect Thoughts. Features. Daggers, Howling Void, and Whispering Auras. Alright, so within 60 feet. So we're probably going to have to just have them rush up. So that's going to be the maximum thing that he can do for now. Alright, so that's going to be Mordon's turn as everyone gets in. Round 1's going to be pretty boring, unfortunately. From the looks of things. Kobold approves. Great for zerging enemies. That is very true, Ellis. I wish I had seen it that the monster, or that our druid here had that ability to do it. Otherwise, I would have got something ready. Oh, man. Conjure animals is rough. Okay. Next up is Lam. And we will go ahead and finish off Mordon's turn. Let's see here. There we go. And we have Lam. Lam is our Blackguard Paladin, and we'll probably just rush up 45 feet since they can't really do much else of anything at the moment. As we will see here, multi-attack could actually do a short bow, I think. So we could... Well, let's see here. Let's back that up a little bit. We'll have him go... Let's see. What is the range on the short bow again? Let's see here. 80, 320. Alright, yeah, so definitely could do some attacks. We'll go ahead and do this. Put him to here, and we'll do some short bow attacks. And since can see Mordon is going to get... I keep thinking of Zordon from freaking Power Rangers. We're going to give him partial cover here. We'll say Mordon gets half cover. Oh. Let's get the right target here. Half cover for that, and we'll make a shot. Let's get rid of the effects here. Okay. This targeting system is a pain sometimes when I forget what you're supposed to do. Okay, so now that we're finally getting into this, let's do our first attack here with a short bow. And we can do 2 of such things. And let's see here, just to double check, multi-attack. Oh, 3 attacks using the glaive or short bow. So we're going to get 3 short bow attacks off at Mordon, our Warlock of the Great Old One. So attack number 1 at disadvantage. We have, let's see here, base 15 to hit. That's going to be an 18, which does hit for our first round of combat here, dealing 5 points of damage to Mordon. A second volley goes through, and that's going to be a 6. You know what? I should take a real quick step back, and we're going to, since the attack did hit, and Smite just says, with an attack roll, we're going to smite with our short bow. And cast the Smite ability on the first hit here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And let's see here. Bonus action to Smite. So let's see here. DC 13 Constitution save. And Mordon succeeds with a 21. So the Smite doesn't take effect, unfortunately. But we can still get those last attacks in. So the second attack missed with a 9. And our third and final hit of the round for Lam, our Blackguard, is going to be a base 9, total of 12, which also misses. So the first attack does hit. We get to see a bit of a smite here from our Blackguard, which sadly doesn't do anything with a low saving throw here, Constitution DC 13. Unfortunately, the smite didn't take effect, which we could have blinded or pushed and did a shove. The shove could have probably been good here to get him away from the AC cover, behind the statue. Socially distant smite. I love it. That's fantastic. Okay, so that ends Lam's turn, and we move on to Anfina, our Astral Elf. Now, she has the same thing going on here. She can do a longbow attack, and she's going to, I guess, take up residence across the way here, 15 foot to this spot here, and is going to instead attack Lorder, the druid here of the old ways. So we're going to go ahead and get ourselves a longbow attack, and we can make, I believe it was just 2 attacks here. Yes, and 2 longbow or longsword attacks. Nothing else special about these attacks here. Just longbows, and the first attack goes off with, let's see here. That's going to be a 4 to hit, and actually I should have given him half cover as well. So we'll go ahead and get that half cover up real quick. There we go, half cover. The attack still would have missed regardless with a 9. And we will do one more attack from Enfina with their longbow. Alright, that's going to be looks like a base 2, and unfortunately that's not going to hit either. And both of Enfina's attacks sadly miss as our combatants get a little closer to each other. Sniper duel! Yes, unfortunately, looks like this might be how it's going to go for a little bit, at least until Lam can get up there and start doing some actual damage. Alright, so Enfina finishes off her turn, and we move up to Hara, who is finally able to go, our Necromancer Wizard. And let's see here, Summon Undead is a bonus action, so we're going to go ahead and do that as a bonus action. Let me see here, magically summon up to 5 skeletons, which luckily I have them ready, and they can appear in an unoccupied space within 60 feet of the Necromancer, whom they obey. They take their turns immediately after the Necromancer, so good to know, and last for 1 hour until the Necromancer dies, or until the Necromancer dismisses them as a bonus action. So, let's see here, Hara's going to, let's see here, what's 60 feet from here? That's 95, so can be a bonus action. So we're going to say, what, we got 30 foot there, and then 60 foot there. We'll have her take a shot. You know, she's going to run up to here, even though she doesn't have perfect cover. She can at least make it to here and get some line of sight going on here from the other people that are plinking with their bows and arrows. So effectively, she's got line of sight covered from these two, but not necessarily from Lam. Now, as a bonus action, since she's already gone ahead and ran, she's going to summon some undead. We're going to use this ability here, and we're going to go ahead and plop them within 60 feet of her. So we'll say right there, nice and simple. Now, I've already prepped our skeletons, and you know, I just figured why not just go ahead and use skeletons anyways. Skeletons are better than the zombies in most cases. Let's see here. I wish the Necromancer subclass could do that, but it would be quite powerful. Yeah, it really could. Alright, so I don't have to worry about adding them into the combat tracker since they go right after Hara. And now that Hara's turn is finished, we're going to go ahead and take all of our skeletons' turns. And the skeletons just look at each of these and just turn and attack. So let me get rid of this here. So we're going to have, you know, 1, 2, we'll say 1, 2, and then 1 down here. Going in for the attacks here. So we'll start off with our attacks on Fenlar from our skeleton attacks. And let's see here, we got Burner, Drizzle, Creeper, Nibbler, and Tickler. Spooky scared. Now I have the song going in my head. Alright, first attack with Burner. And a short sword attack coming in. Let's see, that's going to be a, looks like a base 8, and that misses Fenlar. Next up we have Drizzle going, and that is going to be another short sword attack. Oh, that is a critical miss with a 1, unfortunately. We then move on to our attacks against Enfina, and Enfina is going to get attacked by Nibbler and Creeper. Nibbler rolls a 3, which misses, and Creeper goes in for the short sword attack as well, and rolls a base 4. So far, the skeletons are more of a distraction than anything. They'll shriek into your battlefield, and they just won't leave you be. This is true. It's like Santa's reindeers, but more dead. That's fantastic, Ellis. Alright, and lastly we have Tickler here going up against Lam. And let's see if the short sword attack works on here. Base 14, total of 18 to hit. Looks like we do finally get 1 hit as Tickler tickles Lam with the short sword for 4 points of damage. Not doing really all that much if we were to zoom in here. Okay. So that finishes Hara's turn, and we can now move on to the top of round 2. Okay, so let's see here. Top of round 2, we have Fenlar, who is now surrounded by stupid skeletons, and is going to, well, let's see what happens. Go ahead, since they just kind of sprang up from the ground. We'll say Fenlar's going to go ahead and give them a little attack here. So we have, I just want to make sure. Let's see here. The spike chain reaches with up to 10 feet. Okay. And I can pick one of the 3 or roll randomly. So we'll see what happens here. We're going to go ahead and give this a roll and see how this works out. So the first one is going to be a spike chain against Burner. And let's see here, base 12 to hit, total of 18, does indeed hit for 14 points of damage. And the effect doesn't matter as we, Fenlar easily dispatches the first skeleton here. And then, let's see, what did we have here for the multi-attack? It was 3 spiked chain attacks. Can use shadowy jump after one of these attacks. Fantastic. So we probably will do that after we go ahead and target another one. Going for a spiked chain attack. Base 18 to hit, with a total of 24 for a total of 9 points of damage. Almost killing Drizzle. But sadly does not. So we'll go ahead and make that last spike chain attack. Activate Beyblade. Very true. Spike chain attack on Drizzle here, dealing, let's see here, since it does hit 9 more points of damage, and we finish off 1 more skeleton. That is it for Fenlar's turn, and he's going to probably back up just a wee bit. Ooh, that was a... Oh, I like that ping. That was a nice ping right there. Fenlar's going to back up and get ready for whatever attacks may come next. Okay, so that is Fenlar's turn at the end of round 2, or top of round 2, excuse me. We end Fenlar's turn, and we go to Lorder, who is going to move up with their fiery blade in hand. Let's see, how far can we get? 55 feet? Yeah, we'll go here. We'll say Fenlar, or Lorder, excuse me, rushes up, takes both their actions to move that far up, and that will be the end of their turn. Not much for our Druid of the Old Ways, but, you know, moving up into combat to see what they can do with their Flame Blade and maybe use some magics. Alright, next is Mordon, our Warlock of the Old One. And we need to get a little closer here, so let's see here. Howling Void is basically going to be the attack that this guy is going to be using all the time. So let's see here, 30 feet to here. We'll go 25 feet up to here, and then let's see here. Howling Void was 60 feet, so let's see, what can we do 60 feet away? Who's where? So we got 60 feet there, 60 feet there. Can kind of see Fenlar there. Alright. So let's just double check this real quick. Howling Void. It momentarily opens an extraplanar rift that's filled with a whole bunch of screams and whatnot, and filled a 20-foot cube. Each creature in that area. Let's see. Each creature in the area must make a wisdom save on a failed save and take some psychic damage and may be frightened. Alright. So this is basically going to be the attack that our Warlock of the Great Old One is doing, unfortunately. Not much else they can do. So we're going to use the feature here for Howling Void. We're going to use this ability, and we'll just slap it down right here. Good enough. And that's going to be a total of 6 points of psychic damage against Fenlar, who fails the DC 15 Wisdom save with a 5. And Fenlar is now officially frightened and took 6 points of damage. So that's going to be helpful for the magic user side, a little bit at least. And we'll go ahead and throw on the frightened condition. So let's see here, what do we have? Frightened, perfect. So now Fenlar is officially frightened. We'll just go ahead and get rid of this template. And that will be Mordon's turn. They've used their movement, they used their action, and we'll have him just double back a little bit to get behind the statues. Elves of Shadow the Hedgehog. Unfortunately, no. I didn't play enough of Shadow the Hedgehog to get the reference, sadly. He's using jump scares to attack his foes. Very true. Alright, we're finishing off Mordon's turn here, and we're going on to Lam, who has an annoying skeleton right in front of them. You know, being a blackguard, I think he might just ignore the skeleton and move on. Although he does want to help his buddies out because, you know, they want to win. So let's see. What are we going to do? We could do 3 attacks. Yeah, I guess we'll do 3 attacks and try to clean this up. Alright. So we'll go ahead and attack Tickler here. They're going to drop the short bow and pull out their glaive and go in for an attack. And go in for the first attack. Base 17 to hit, total 24, for a total of 20 points of damage. And that takes care of Tickler for sure. Indeed. Alright, and then let's see here. So we're going to move 20 feet up to here and go and attack the others. You know, we'll go to here. That way we can get at least flanking advantage for this. And we'll go ahead and make this next attack on here. And target Nibbler at advantage. So we got a base 3 and base 1, it looks like. And that's a 10, unfortunately. Good thing they moved in. Mom moved into melee range and flanked, because sadly that was a miss. And we'll go in for one more attack at advantage against Nibbler here. Base 19 will indeed hit for a total of 26, dealing 17 points of damage, and that finishes off one more skeleton. Okay, so the next thing is What do we do here? We moved, what was it, 5, 10, 15, 20 feet to here. And we'll say, we'll just go 10 more feet to here. And give, you know, Enfina advantage as well for the flanking bonus here. Alright, so that is Lam's turn. Lam ends their turn, and we go to Enfina, who drops their longbow quick, pulls out the longsword, and goes in for an attack as well. So we'll go ahead and target Creeper, and take one longsword at advantage. Hopefully we'll finish this off, and then we can see what happens. Alright, so base 17, total of 21 to hit, wounds Creeper, but doesn't kill, oh man, doesn't finish off Creeper. That is absurd. All right, one more attack with the longsword here. Base 17, total of 21 to hit, and another mighty swing of 16 points of damage, which finally finishes off the second, the second skeleton here, which is all the skeletons. And we'll see. Well, they'd have to step over the bodies, which could be considered difficult terrain. Well, I guess we'll do something like this. 30 feet to... I guess we'll do 30 feet to like this right here. Time to start moving up. Okay. So we'll go to here, and Enfina, holding the longsword and totally disregarding the longbow, is getting frustrated with this and starts to move up with the longsword in hand. Probably because they can do more damage with the longsword. And that'll be the end of Enfina's turn. Up next we have Hara here, excuse me. And we'll see what Hara can do. Alright, so Hara's undead have been destroyed. We can only do that, looks like, once. And when do they recharge? Curious. Recharges on a D6. Okay. Oh, no, that doesn't, excuse me, doesn't recharge on a D6. We have one use per day. So, that's it for the undead. That's it. Alright, we'll go into some spell books here. Let's see. Circle of Death, Bestow Curse, Dimension Door, Mage Armor's already done, and we have Web. Web is always handy, and they're right next to each other, within pretty close range. So, we'll have Hara move up to here. And let's see, what was the range on Web? 20-foot cube, yeah, I know that. Let's see here. Range. Where are you? 60 feet. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Side to side. All right. Web. 60 foot range. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and use the web spell. Cast a spell here. Let's see here. Instantaneous ones. We have web. Go ahead and place that down, and we will go ahead and web our two adventurers here. So, we have web cast out, 60 foot out, which does grab Enfina and Lam. The dexterity save is a 15, and it looks like Lam fails with a 5 and is now restrained, while Enfina succeeds with a 16 and can move out of the webbing, which is fantastic. Okay, so Lam will get the restrained condition, and Enfina is perfectly fine. Alright, so we'll go ahead and do restrained, which is probably going to be beneficial to having Lam restrained, and we'll hold them out as long as possible. The skeletons are all done, so we don't have to worry about that, and that will be Hara's turn. Hara's going to go ahead and... let's not do that. Let's take her off of targeting. We'll back her up a little bit to stay out of line of sight, and end her turn. Top of round 3, we're back to Fenlar here, who sees the combatants and what's going on, and is just going to rush up and take a shot at, we'll go to, since we have the range, we'll go to here, and then they have 5 more feet if they need to move. So we have 10 foot we can attack. Does whatever a wizard can, perfect. Yep, it was Spider-Man time. Venom is also just as good. Alright, we're going to go ahead and have Fenlar attack Lorder with the spiked chain. So we got ourselves, the blender attack coming up. And we go ahead and attack number 1 with our spiked chain. Alright, attack number 1. Oh, why am I rolling at advantage? What happened there? Oh, frightened, that's right. Okay, so frightened, and that means they can't willingly move closer to their view. So, in essence, they have to go here, which means they can move close enough to Lorder. Oh no, technically they couldn't do that either. So, unfortunately, Fenlar can't move closer. Well, I don't know. I would judge this as, no, it's still moving closer because we are reducing the distance here, in essence. Yeah, he's frightened. Okay, so we're going to have to get rid of the frightened condition. We can't attack. All right, so luckily the attack was a miss anyways. So let's just double back and see about this frightened condition. Frightened. A frightened creature has disadvantage on attacks. Yeah, it can't really willingly move closer to the source of its fear. All right, so unfortunately, Fenlar's just going to have to go on dodge for the time being while the frightened condition is still in effect. They don't have any ranged attacks, unfortunately. Could shadow jump, but that's not going to help either. So unfortunately, I think Fenlar is just kind of stuck. All right, we will say we'll go ahead and put him on a dodge. And that will be Fenlar's turn, unfortunately. Okay, Lorder is up next with the Flame Blade in hand. Ooh, let's see here. All right, we'll go ahead and do something like this, and we'll go around here. Yeah, we'll say moves 20 foot to there. Although, let's see what's going on. Got some spells to double check here. Also, let's get rid of this just in case. Spellbook. Produce flame. Oh, okay. So the frightened is still good, though, because Mordon hasn't taken their turn. All right, that's good to know. Thank you, Ellis. Fairy Fire, Thunder Wave. Ooh, Thunder Wave could be fun. I think, what is that, 15-foot cube? That isn't going to reach Lam, unfortunately. Well, here's the thing. Yes, it could burn the web, but if we're not targeting the web and we're just attacking the creature who isn't restricted or restrained by the web, does the web still burn? I don't know. Let's see. Dominant Beast, Wall of Fire, Scrying, Wall of Thorns. Well, I guess we could do a Thorn Whip. That would probably be the easiest thing. Or a Thunder Wave might be fun, but the Thunder Wave is kind of wasted. You know what? Fairy Fire. Screw it. We're just going to do a Fairy Fire. So, Lorder's going to move up and is going to do a Fairy Fire. That'll be the easiest thing to try and light these two up to make them easier to hit. So we'll see what happens here since they're already restrained and on fire. Okay. Lorder's going to cast a spell. And what was that? First level? First level, perfect. Okay. Oh, I'm already concentrating on Flame Blade, and that'll end the concentration. Shoot. Alright, well, that was a good reminder. Alright, well, I guess we'll just Thorn Whip Enfina. What's the range? 30 foot? Perfect. Okay. We'll do Thorn Whip to get them out of there and keep Lam in the fire, in the web. Not the most exciting thing I wanted to have Lorder do, but you know, what can we say? What else can we do about it? All right, base 14, total of 22 to hit. That is going to be 7 points of damage for the Thorn Whip, and we're going to pull Enfina up 10 feet. All right, and that was the action. And you know what? Lam's just going to go whoop, 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 and run back a little bit, since you know, since what's going on here. If Flame's fire contained within the shape of a sword, or if the fire is vaguely sword-shaped. I don't know. That's why I went with the Thorn Whip. I figured it would just be easier. Yeah, it's a shame we didn't have the spike growth, unfortunately. But we did do the get over here Scorpion pull. For sure. Okay, so that's going to end Lorder's turn. We're good there. And now we have Mordon's turn. And Mordon is going to... probably going to go ahead and do the same thing, unfortunately. It's going to move up, and well, since Lam is currently entangled, we're going to have Mordon do the fear effects now on Enfina. Alright, so we'll go ahead and use the feature for Howling Void. Place that measured template, and we're going to go ahead and Howl the Void on Enfina. So we have a total of 11 points of damage here with a DC Wisdom saving throw, and Enfina succeeds, only taking half and isn't frightened. So, that's good for Enfina, bad for Mordon, who's going to go ahead and move back a few behind the statue here. A lot of hide-and-go-seek with our casters, for sure. Up next, now that Mordon's turn is done, is Lam, who is restrained, and all they can do is try to break free, unfortunately. Let's see here. Can I... Oh yeah, that's just going to do that. Okay, so we're restrained. Can't move, can't take actions. Unfortunately, left his short bow behind over here, so can't even do that, and it has to make a save against the DC check here. So Webb has a DC 15, so Lom's going to go ahead and make a save to try and break free. Let's see here. Was it a save, or was it athletics check? I can't remember. A restrained creature Webb can use its action to make a strength check against your spell save DC. Okay, strength check, so I guess that will be just a normal roll. So strength doesn't really matter, it's the same thing. So that is unfortunately still not going to help. With a 7, Lom is still stuck in the web and can't do anything. So that is unfortunately Lom's turn. We'll end the turn there, and now we have Enfina, who has some options. And I guess she's going to go ahead and just rush up on Lorder, who is right there, and make some attacks. Alright, moving up even further, and is targeting. Alright, here comes the pain train, that's for sure. Alright, we'll leave that targeting on there. And we have 2 longsword attacks on Lorder. Finally, the martial classes are getting up there and doing some damage. Okay, so we have slashing and radiant damage here, and that's going to be a total of 19 to hit for 18 points of damage. And Lorder is hit pretty hard, yes, clobbering time indeed. Second attack, base 9 to hit, 13, misses Lorder just barely with an AC of 14. And that will be the end of Enfina's turn, sadly. Nothing else to do except move on to the next person. Alright, if I can click the right people here. Then finally we move on to Hara, and Hara is concentrating on the web spell and can see Enfina here. So let's see, we're going to go 5, 10, 15 to here. And then we'll probably, let's see, what can we do that could be fun? Circle of Death is a 60-foot sphere. Negative energy represents each creature in the area must save Constitution save, taking a whole bunch of necrotic damage, or half as much on a successful one. Can't upcast it, so... you know what? We're going to go ahead and do Circle of Death on over here, since it's a 60-foot sphere. This will be a fun one. And she's going to go ahead and take this chance to make some nasty damage. Alright. Circle of Death. We're going to go ahead and cast this spell. Holy... Wow. Okay. Much bigger than I expected. That is huge. And we'll place it in such a way that it gets everyone on the martial side. Oh boy. Okay, so... That is, let's see here, Circle of Death goes out. That is total of 21 points of damage with a DC 15 Constitution save. Fenlar succeeds with a 16, Lom fails, and Enfina passes with an 18. So we have 5 damage to Fenlar, who apparently has also got resistance to, is that necrotic damage? Yes, damage, necrotic damage resistance, so they take even less damage. They take a quarter of the damage for 5 points of damage here. Lom takes a total brunt of 21, and Fenlar takes half at 10. That was an interesting move. Yes, it is indeed a Circle of Death. That is absurd. Okay, so that is the end for that, and Hara is going to definitely take the next 5, 10, 15 feet of her movement and go hide behind the statue again. Oh boy, that was massive. And that ends her turn. Okay. Moving on, top of round 4. Let's see here. We're back to Fenlar, who still can't move forward. Oh no, can move forward because it said at the end of the turn it ended, right? For the Howling Void. On a 6, oh yeah, and the Warlock until the start of the Warlock's next turn. So Fenlar can finally move forward. So we'll go ahead and get rid of the frightened condition. Drop that off. And Fenlar is going to just dash up. Let's see here. So we'll say 5 feet to there. We'll do another 25 feet to there. And because they're Shadar Kai, or Kar, however you want to pronounce it, Shadow Kai, bonus action time to do a shadow jump, which is going to then allow him to move 30 feet anywhere, and is going to jump over to here. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll say right here. Jumps over to here, and is going to start chain whipping Mordon. Okay. Let's get the right target system going on here. I promise you pain without end. Nice. Alright. focusing. Oh, let's get the right person. Darn it. There we go. Okay. Chain whip or spiked chain attack number 1 on Mordon, who needs to get rid of the half cover because they don't have half cover anymore. All right. One more time. Spike chain number 1. That's going to be base 12, total of 18 to hit, dealing 9 points of damage. And then, let's see here. Spike chain, dexterity saving throw, fails a dexterity saving throw. Okay. So, what does that mean? Dexterity saving throw will suffer one of the following. Okay, I'm going to roll this out. So we're going to go ahead and roll a d6 to see what kind of effect happens. Number 6. The Shadowkai Dancer topples over Mordon, and Mordon is now prone. So, that's going to be fun. And allows Fenlar here to get 2 more attacks at advantage. Alright, prone condition set. Attack number 2. At advantage, base 19 to hit, total of 25. That's 14 points of damage. And somehow, on the ground, Mordon succeeds with a 22. I don't understand how. But, sure? Okay. Prone condition. I just want to see something here. Yeah, there's nothing about disadvantage on the ground. That's really funny. Okay, so the last attack here, because we can do a multi-attack of 3 spike chain attacks, we're going ahead and make the final spike chain attack at, looks like base 19, which does indeed hit. That's going to be 7 more points of damage, and another successful, somehow, Mordon is just rolling around on the ground here, avoiding these major damaging attacks by the spike chain and Fenlar. Yes, definitely breakdancing. Oh, man. Okay, so that was some hilarity going on there, and that will be Fenlar's turn. And we now are up to Lordor, who has the flame sword in hand, and can't really do too much else of anything. So let's see here. What do we have for bonus actions? Well, we have the flame blade, which was already set up, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. Although I do want to see the damage here. A 3d6. So you make an attack. Melee spell attack with your fiery blade. Okay. So that means, where can I roll? Yeah, we'll just do this. Nope, we won't do that. Melee spell attack with your fiery blade. Alright. Spellcasting. +8 to hit. Okay, so d20 +8. That'll just be the easiest thing to do here. Alright, so we need a d20, and we're doing 8. Alright. And that will be a base of 7, total of 15, and Fenlar's AC is a 17, so the Flame Blade does not hit, unfortunately. And Lordor is... I guess Lordor's just going to kind of hang out there for a little bit. He's not hurt that bad, so there's no real reason at the moment to really bounce back and forth here. So, I guess he'll just hold out there, because that's about all he can do. Multi-attack. No, this is the wrong person. Oh, stupid targeting system. I like the targeting system, it's just obnoxious when I forget about it. Alright, so, yeah, that's the end of that turn. Okay. Ending there, we now have Mordon, who's on the ground, prone, so we'll go ahead and get rid of the prone condition as they stand up. And, let's see here. Can't really do too terribly much, so he's going to, I guess, back up a little bit. We'll say back up 20 feet. Yeah, we'll go to here. That seemed to be the good idea here, and is going to, once again, try and scare the crap out of Fenlar. Alright, Fenlar's being scared. And we'll go ahead and make that attack. Let's see here. Use the feature for Howling Void. Can we get... No, we can't get anyone else. So we'll go ahead and do the Howling Void. That's going to be a total of 11 psychic damage. And Fenlar fails once again. Unfortunately, becoming frightened once again. So we have the frightened condition and can't move any closer to Mordon, sadly. Well, sadly for Fenlar, good for Mordon. Alright. So that's going to be Mordon's turn. They move 10, well, we'll say, what am I doing there? Let's get rid of that. All right, and, yeah, we'll just have him go over here. Okay, so that's Mordon's turn, and we'll finish that up, and we go on to Lom, who's still stuck in the silly webs here. So they're going to go ahead and take a turn to try and break free. Let's see if Lom can get out of there. strength check. And that's going to be, oh no, base 7. With a total of 11, Lam is still stuck in the web. Can't get free of it yet. Man, that is a good use of a spell right there. Okay, so once again, Lam was probably going to be the trump card for the marshals and can't do anything now. Yes, Fenlar is scared of the breakdancing, it seems, for sure. Alright, so that ends Lam's turn, as they can't do anything else to break free. We now have Enfina, who is going to attack Lorder again. And we'll go ahead and get going with these attacks. Alright, Longsword attack number 1 on Lorder. That's going to be base 10, total 14 to hit. It looks like we do hit indeed, with total of 22 points of damage. And let's see, Lordor succeeds on the concentration check for their Flame Blade. DC was 11 and succeeded with a 25. Fantastic. Blood Stomach, hey buddy! Has a marshal attempted to rip the wand out of a caster's hand yet? No, they haven't. They're just kind of doing whatever at the moment. It was a lot of ranged combat at first, and now they're just going in for the attacks. Heavy-handed and whatnot. Yeah. Okay. Lorder is getting attacked second time by Enfina. Second round here. 16 base, total of 20 to hit, which does again hit, once again hits. Concentration check of DC 10. Lorder succeeds again for the Flame Blade, which really isn't doing much of anything, but is dealt 18 points of slashing radiant damage. And that is Enfina's turn, but Enfina's going to pivot. So he's going to pivot around Lorder and go over to here, trying to block Lorder from maybe running off. No, I was totally mistaken here. Okay. Oh, I should have done the attack on Mordon. Oh well. To try and break the fear effect or whatever. Although I don't think that would have worked because it's only one round. All right. Anyways, and regardless, Enfina's turn is over, and now we have Hara again. Let's see. What do we have now for spells and abilities? We could possibly bestow Curse, but that's a concentration spell. We're already concentrating on Web. We got Dimension Door. Can't really do too much else. So it looks like Hara is going to take a couple pot shots with her magical abilities of Arcane Burst at ranged. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and switch targets over to Fenlar, who's right here anyways, and take a few shots. All right. So attack number 1, Arcane Burst at ranged. And that's going to be 18 base, total of 25 for 23 points of necrotic damage. And it only deals half damage because, well, Fenlar's resistant to necrotic damage. And Hara notices this and is not too happy about the results. So Hara's going to move up 5, 10, let's say 15 feet to here, and switches targets to Enfina. Maybe she can do more damage to Enfina and not have a silly Shadar Kai resisting her necrotic damage. Okay, attack number 2 on Enfina this time. Base 7, total 14, misses Enfina, who has an AC of... Oh, let's get that die out of there. 17 AC. So, Hara is not having too good of a time. 15 feet, finishing her movement up to here. And that will be the end of Hara's turn and the end of round 4. Okay, so we are back to the top of the round. Fenlar is still frightened. Can't move any closer, but seeing as Hara has, been harassing Fenlar a little bit, we're going to have Fenlar move. Ooh, yeah, can make the full 30-foot movement here and go attack Hara now that she's been spotted. So, 30 feet up to here, targeting Hara, and the chain whips are a go. Okay, so still frightened. That's probably going to take an effect here, but we'll see what happens in a moment here. Spiked chain attack number 1. Yes, at disadvantage, we have a base 10, 16 to hit, which does indeed hit for 10 points of damage, and then a DC 14 dex save, and Hara fails. Now, as the spike comes flailing about, we also knock Hara prone, and Hara is now down on the ground, which is going to give Fenlar advantage and counteracting the fear that he's feeling having Mordon just, opening up these rifts and scaring the shit out of him. All right, so attack number 2 at base regular now because he is fighting a prone victim. That's going to be a total of 24 to hit, 8 more points of damage, and somehow, once again, breakdancing is the key factor here. On the ground and just dodging out of the way, a 20 is what Hara rolled for the succeed on the dexterity save, and no added effects from the spike chain. And we have one more attack here against Hara, who's on the ground. Base 8, total of 14, which misses Hara with an AC of 15. So Fenlar, while getting the first attack in and knocking the people prone, Yes, thank you. Concentration check on the web. It's not doing it for some reason. Okay, so we'll go back to that real quick. Thank you again. Lead Stomach, inspiration to you. Warning, inspirations awarded here on the D&D YouTube channel may not be valid with your DM. Check with them to see if you can use it or not. Okay, so that was 10 points of damage. And so base 10 DC check here. So let's see what we got. Concentration check +1. Oof, that is low. But it's only a 10, but rolled a 4, and the web is now officially gone. Okay. They failed the concentration check, and looks like that was destroyed a while bit. But anyways, Lam is definitely free. Alright, so that's going to be super beneficial for the melee here, as the webs just wither and die, and Lam looks around and goes, oh, perfect. Time to advance. And yeah, no longer restrained. Okay. So, with that out of the way, once again, thank you for the reminder, Led. That was super helpful. We end Fenlar's turn and move on to Lordor, who is squaring off with Enfina, and probably going to be feeling a little emboldened since the buddy is right here. Mordon, that is. Alright, so let's see here. We'll end the turn, clicking that little button. Then we go on to Mordor, who's here. And let's see here. Why don't we do... Let's get rid of the bonus actions there. We'll do a Thunder Wave. I mean, it's not the most optimal, but it's going to at least get... potentially could have push Enfina out of the way. So we'll go ahead and cast a spell. Second for Thunder Wave. We'll go ahead and use that. And we're going to Thunder Wave Enfina. Oh, that's nice. I like that spell effect. That was cool. Alright, so only 3 points of thunder damage, but it was a DC 16 Constitution save, and Enfina fails with a 5. So, not only does she take the 3 points of thunder damage, but is also pushed 10 feet away. Yes, perfect. And emits a thunderous boom. So, Enfina gets pushed 10 feet back, and Lordor is now going to, I guess... rush back this way to totally avoid being hit anymore. So that's 15 there, another 30 feet total movement back, and that will end Lordor's turn. Okay, moving on, we have Mordon here, who is now going to... Doesn't probably know about the web and may be too focused on everyone else, so Mordon's going to go ahead and use the... we're not going to do the spell, we're going to do the Howling Void once again. And it's going to try and scare Enfina. Alright, so we have a total of 4 points of psychic damage and a DC 15 wisdom save, and Enfina fails. Enfina is now also frightened of Mordon. This is getting kind of silly here with this fear. Alright, so frightened. And Enfina is now frightened. And we end the turn, which now Fenlar is no longer frightened. Alright, so we'll go ahead and end the turn for that. And get rid of the frightened here. Perfect. Alright, very good. Moving on. We move on to Lam, who can finally move. And let's see here. Who can he really see? Mordon is kind of hidden back here. Actually, they're both kind of hidden. So, sadly, Lam... Let's see here. Lam... Who did Lam see last? Lam saw Hara last. So, Lam's going to move up 30 feet to here. And then, can't really do too much of anything else. We'll just have him do another movement because he dropped his longbow back there. So, 10 feet up to Hara. Actually, he's going to move behind and get into position to possibly flank Hara here. Alright, so that's Lam's turn as he moves up into melee range. And we move on to Enfina. Enfina can't move in to Mordon, so is going to go ahead and move 30 feet right to Lam instead. Okay, not good for Hara to be moving back like that, and is now going to flank Hara, who is still actually prone on the ground, so we don't even have to worry about flanking, but you know, that is what it is. So first attack against Hara here, who's on the ground. Let's see here, longsword attack, go. Yes, is frightened, so that counteracts the frightened condition. Base 10, 14 to hit, misses, and we go in for another longsword attack. Frizz is indeed the Lord of the Arena. This is Frizz's feverish dream of this battle that's going on here. So that's why he's the Lord of the Arena, watching over with 2 guards here. Yes, in most cases, the concentration check is made for me, which is fantastic. But there's nothing to worry about concentrating here. Somehow, Enfina is missing both attacks. That is pretty sad. But not to be, you know, not too much so, because Enfina is still frightened by Mordon here. Alright, so finishing up Enfina's turn, we have now move on to Hara, who is going to stand up from being prone. And what is she going to do? Oh, yes, she can totally teleport. She has Dimension Door, and she's going to Dimension Door out of this predicament. So the Dimension Door, let's see here, 1 action, and she can move up to 200 feet in a range, or yeah, up to 200 feet, I believe. So Dimension Door, definitely. Why in the world did she just... oh, alright. Definitely not arriving in a place that's going to be dealing her damage. She's going to zip all the way back here with her group. And we'll just say... We'll say goes way back here. So she Dimension Doors out of the way and gets out of dodge pretty fast. Because that was not going to be good for her whatsoever. Oh, yes. That's what I'm trying to do. Get rid of the targeting. Okay, so that ends round 5, and we move on to the top of round 6 with Fenlar, who is getting aggravated with all these casters running about. So, let's see here. Can totally move in another so many feet, and is going to... yeah, gotta get rid of Mordon, because Mordon is the biggest threat here. So he's going to shift up 30 feet to here, and then is going to Shadow Step, or use the feature here for the bonus action, to Shadow Jump up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space, and is going to Shadow Jump over to, we'll say, here? I'm sure that was enough space. Yeah, that was perfect. Okay. And is going to attack Mordon. Okay. So let's go ahead and target Mordon here, and go in for the Spike Chain attack. Oof, that was a 1 and a critical miss. So, going off of that, we're going in for a second attack, and that's going to be, another miss with a base 7, total 13, and a final attack of base 8 and misses. Oof, all 3 attacks just completely miss Mordon, who seems to be holding his own, even though he's not doing too much besides scaring the crap out of everyone. So, that ends Fenlar's turn, and we move on. Blink, you'll miss it, exactly. It has to be in dim light or darkness. Oh, crud. Well... we'll just say it is. I completely forgot about that part. We'll say more or less this is in dim light. This is a dream, so who knows. Is that even possible? It appears to be so, because no one has really died yet. Alright, so Lorder is up, and what's Lorder gonna do? Let's see here. Where am I at with time? Okay. Lordor has a whole bunch of magic. Thorn Whip, Druid, Thunder... Frick. Let's see here. Oh, Wall of Fire, actually. What is the dimensions for a circle? A ringed wall up to 20 feet in diameter. Perfect. Okay. So Lorder is going to shift over to here. Yep, right there. And then is going to surround Enfina and Lam with a ring of fire. So let's see here. Where's my wall of fire hiding? Perfect. Wall of fire. Yes, we are doing that. And I don't want that. I want the circle version. But it's giving me a straight line. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, perfect. There we go. Okay, so that kind of worked. So they're encircled in a ring of fire now. Yeah, we'll set it in such a way that, you know, they both had to take the damage. Alright, so they're in a ring of fire at the moment. And let's see here. Lam failed his check, and we also have Enfina with her check. Let's see here. Dexterity save. Okay. +5 on the dex save. That's going to be base 4, total of 9. Also fails the check and takes 16 points of fire damage. And is now dealing, has that set up. Okay, so that's everything for Lorder's turn, and we end the round there. Okay, up next we have Mordon, who is going to turn and fear Fenlar once again. This is just this dude's MO. This is all he can do, is just this Howling Void. Goes in for the attack. Howling Void for 13 points of psychic damage, but Fenlar succeeds and does not deal any damage. Or does not get frightened, I should say. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get rid of that. And that will end Mordon's turn, who is going to, I guess, let's see, probably back up over to here, keeping as much distance as possible, although with the range, can't really do it. And that will be his turn. Now we have Lam, who is in the fire. And since he's technically already in the fire, he's going to go ahead and push through the fire. 20, 30 feet to there. Okay. And let's see here. I just got to double check the fire spell here. When the wall appears, each creature in its area must succeed dex save on this side of the walls. Yeah, so the inside was the fiery side. Yeah, alright, so the damage was sadly already dealt, and Lam can only move, can only do that much more, so Lam's going to move another 15 feet up to get within range. Come on, get off of that. There we go. And is now right next to Lorder. Okay, that's it for his turn. He's just doing a lot of running around now. And Fina has the same thing. Fire damage going on. It's going to move up 25 feet, get into range, and hopefully do something here. So, can make the range to move up and attack, and is going to go in and make a longsword attack. Yeah, exactly. He is kind of on fire. Jeez Louise, a 6 round. Okay, so we're going in for a longsword flanking against Lorder. That's going to be... Oh, shouldn't be at... Damn it. Alright, hold up. Well, it still hits, which is good. We're going to do... We got to get rid of the frightened here, because the frightened is gone. Alright, so the frightened's gone, and let me just roll another d20 to see if I got a crit or not. Alright, so no crit there, which is fine. And we'll go in for one more attack. Longsword against Lorder, who is barely hanging on to life. That's a 13 base, total of 17 to hit, 24 points of damage. And Lorder, our druid of the old ways, is now dust with the old ways. And then Fina does kind of like a Chun-Li, like, yatta! And jumps up and down. It's like, oh, finally, something's going on here. McClash013, this is making me appreciate the simplicity of my arcane archer character, for sure. Benny Hill theme initiated. Yes, exactly, Hair Doctor. This is just a lot of running around here. Okay, so when Fina finishes their turn, up next is Hara, who is, going to take their turn. So what can we do here? What else do we have? Bestow Curse. We could do that. The web is gone, so we could definitely do Bestow Curse. So let's go ahead and do that. Hara's going to move, let's see here, 30 feet back to here. And just to make things worse for Lam, she's going to go ahead and Bestow Curse on Lam. Because, he's a paladin, technically. Alright, so Bestow Curse on Lam. Let's see what happens. Oh, and your range is 5 feet. You have to be 5 feet for that one? Oh, no good. I had no idea. Alright, we won't be doing that then. Oh yeah, look at that touch. Oof, that's a terrible spell in some cases. Alright, so then. Arcane Bolt action it is. Alright, so let's go ahead and take an attack. 2 shots with that, I believe it was. Base 3 is definitely going to miss. And another attack. Base 4 also misses. Oof. Do we have any more? Oh, can make one more. Alright, 3 attacks it is. And the third might... Oh, still misses! Jeez. Yes, with an AC of 18, Lam avoids all 3 necrotic attacks from Hara, who has unfortunately positioned herself too close to Lam now. Okay, so that is the end of round 6, and we're moving on to round 7? Oh, wow. Okay, so Fenlar, not frightened but is bloodied, is going to move up 30 feet and goes in for the attack. Curses Hara, exactly. I mean, some spells are good enough to be used 100 times in the same combat when were the prep rules for the spells in this combat. What were the prep rules for the spells in this combat? Not much. Whatever works. I prepped some of the conjuration spells, but didn't for others. So, yeah, it just kind of is what it is. Alright, Fenlar goes to attack Mordon here, since now we have the advantage of 3 martial against 2 spellcasters. And Fenlar is going to make some swings. Alright, so attack number 1. Base 18, total of 24 to hit. That's 12 points of damage. And let's see here. Looks like Mordon succeeds the dex save to not be affected by the spike chains effects. Attack number 2 is a 16 base, another hit with a total of 22 and 15 more points of damage. And that's a fail this time from Mordon's dex save. And we get the effect of 4. Okay, so grappled. Mordon is now officially grappled and restrained. Okay, can't grapple another target, but can still do some stuff. So we're going to go ahead and put restrained on Mordon here. Let's see, restrained, perfect. Mordon is now restrained, and we're going in for one more attack. At advantage with a base 13, total of 19 to hit. That's 9 more points of damage, and Mordon fails at disadvantage for the attack. So we'll go ahead and do, let's see here. We're going to do a D4 for decay or topple. All right, so let's go ahead and do, actually, we'll just do a D1, or a D2. Roll 1d2. So 1 will be the top one, 2 is toppled. So Mordon is now also prone. Oh boy, okay. So don't have the prone effect on there. I must have got rid of it by accident. We now have prone. And Mordon falls to the ground. Okay. So that is the end of that. Let's see here. Fenlar's turn is over. And we move on to Mordon, who is prone but gets up. So, you know, prone is kind of pointless. And is still restrained, but can still attack, just at disadvantage. So Mordon's going to go ahead and use their ability, as always, to try and fear the crap with the Howling Void here. Actually, that could be the better option because it does affect more people. But he is being affected by Fenlar here. He's going to go with Fenlar because Fenlar is the aggressor at the moment. Okay, let's see here. 7 points of damage, and Fenlar succeeds the wisdom save to be frightened. Looks like Fenlar is finally holding out against the void assaults here. And we'll get rid of that template real fast. And we'll end Mordon's turn, who is now restrained. I guess he didn't try to break free, so that's fine. Moving on. Yeah, Mordon is probably dead here, for sure, probably. Lom's turn. Lom is going to rush up 25 feet, go right up to here, and attack Hara. Okay, so I think we're coming to the end here for our spellcasters, but who knows? Anything could happen, to be honest. Okay, attacking Hara, and we have several glaive attacks now. All right, glaive attack number 1 of 3. It's going to be a total of 19 to hit, which is a total, base 19, total of 26, 12 points of damage. And let's see here. So that's 11 points of damage. Why did that get reduced by 1? That's interesting. And then a bonus action to, let's see here. Bonus action to smite. Okay, so she was hit, and he uses the smite ability. Constitution saving throw, and Hara succeeds. So there's no smite, unfortunately, and that was the bonus action. So 2 more attacks on Hara. We have a base 3, which misses, and then a third glaive attack of base 18 for a total of 25 and 20 more points of damage. Why is the... Oh, she must have... Does she have something against... Oh, he's swinging necrotic damage and she's resistant. Okay, that makes a lot more sense as to why the damage was being reduced. Okay. There we go. She's got necrotic resistance as well. Had no idea. And I do believe that is it for the multi-attack features. 3 attacks. Yes, perfect. Okay. So that is Lom's turn. Finally getting in some attacks. And then Fina. And Fina can... we'll say to here and then to there. And will come in to attack Hara as well. Oof. Let's stop doing that. Thank you. All right, so 10 feet to there, another 20 feet to there, and goes in for 2 longsword attacks. Okay. 15 base, total of 19, which does hit. 16 points of slashing radiant damage and wounds Lam, who is now bloodied. 1 more attack, and that's going to be a 13 to hit. Base, total of 17, 22 more points of radiant damage, and Hara is almost on the way out. Okay, so that is Enfina's turn, and we will end there, and Hara is going to... Well, I think she's going to... what's she going to do? What's she going to do? Well, she's a necromancer. And what's her alignment? Any alignment. And you know what? She's just going to Dimension Door, which she probably could have done a while ago, and is going to just Dimension Door up and out of here. 200 feet, that's going to put her well out of this arena and out of this place. Lamenhar. Nice. Probably. Okay, so we'll go ahead and cast the Dimension Door ability. And since she can't reach... I mean, she could take a chance to try and grab Mordon. But, you know, necromancers... whatever. And she's just going to Dimension Door out of here. Unless she... Can she? Yes, 1 of 2 uses left. And she looks at Mordon and waves goodbye. And she casts the Dimension Door ability. Doesn't take the damage. That is so annoying that it rolls that damage like that. And she just disappears up onto the bleachers and evacuates. Gets the heck out of here. So Hara is now officially off the board, as far as I'm concerned, as she runs away from this madness. And we'll basically end there at the top of round 8. I mean, we could try and see what happens. We'll give these 2 one more turn to see what happens as we go to round 8 here. Yeah, exactly. Hara's like, you know, I'm out. This might have gone entirely differently if they had that Earth Elemental. For sure, Ellis. Definitely. Alright, so Fenlar's up. Fenlar's going to continue attacking Mordon, who he has restrained at the moment. So we'll go ahead and target him. Fenlar goes in. Let's zoom in a little bit here. So we're getting nice and personal with these attacks. Spike chain attack number 1. Okay, let's just get these attacks proper. There we go. Base 17 to hit, 23 total damage, and that's going to be 5 points more of piercing damage. And Mordon fails the dex save, so we're going to go ahead and roll a D2 again to see what effect happens. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get the decay ability. So a decay courses through the spike chain as it hits Mordon, and he takes 4d10 more points of necrotic damage. And that's going to be a total of 19. Let's just make sure that, you know, he doesn't have necrotic resistance, which he doesn't. Okay, so he's going to take 19 more points of damage. And let's go ahead and minus 19. That is putting Mordon in the critical condition, and we're going to have Fenlar make 2 more attacks to possibly finish this off. Attack number 2, let's see here, base 9, 15 misses, and then attack number 3, can he finish it off? Oh, we have a critical hit here, 26 total, that is 26 points of damage, and Mordon is finished off at the top of round 8, everyone. Igor! Sorry I couldn't be here today, I'm out drinking with my pals, I'm drinking for your health, if it's any consolation. Thank you. My drink of choice is the Kamikaze, if you do happen to enjoy those, just letting you know. And that is the end of combat here on round 8 as the Marshals took the somehow managed to take the win. So we're going to head and end the poll here to see who did what. And the major side here thought that the magic users would end up taking the fight, but sadly the Marshals did. With 30% of you, whoever voted for the Marshals, congratulations, you're the winner of tonight's Monster vs. Monster competition and the guess of who might win. And up in the balcony, we have Frizz laughing his ass off, just rolling in his chair, and eventually laughs so hard that he snorts and laughs himself awake. And sadly, realizes he's in some dank cave next to his goblin boss, who he really hates, and tries to get back into the dream. and sadly just can't find himself the way back into the dream. So thank you all for joining me. This has been another episode of Monster vs. Monster. I forgot last week's business. The battle map here was by Ches and Peku. You can get their maps at Ches and Peku on Patreon. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I just really enjoy their stuff. Names were all generated by fantasynamegenerator.com. Tokens were official token artwork from D&D, Wizards, and all the other sources. And the battle map here is Foundry VTT. I highly recommend Foundry if anyone is interested in using it. This has been Andrew, and this is me, as always, thanking everyone. Igor, Ellis, Hair Doctor, Lead Stomach, McClash013. Let's see here, did I miss anyone? Thank you all, as always. Drake Terry as well. Thank you all, as always. You guys have been amazing here hanging out with me on the live stream. I appreciate it very much. And anyone else that watches this video as a VOD and gets all the way to the end, you're amazing. Thank you so much for watching. And this is me, Andrew, asking the age-old question, are your encounters even rated? Thank you, everyone. Have a good night, and I will see you next Monday for another live stream of Monster vs. Monster here on the YouTube channel. Oh, to be or not to be. Thanks for stopping by as well. This is a bro moment. All right, everyone. Thank you so much, and I'll see you later. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Take care, and have a great rest of your day.